Hello everybody, welcome. I am here today to give you a little bit of advice for the last 2 weeks of Beyond Light. We have 2 weeks left until Beyond Light launches. You may still have a lot to do, you're not sure where to go, you're not sure what to get done first, you don't know what's as important as this other one. Do I have to get this one first? Do I have to do this quest first? Should I farm on bounties? Should I get a bunch of materials? What do I do in these last 2 weeks? Let me give you a little bit of advice. Show you some direction to make the most of your time. First up, let's talk about some exotics that are actually leaving the game, getting put into the DCV along with the content that is coming from. Raid exotics. Currently, until Beyond Light launches, you can infinitely farm the raids that are going into the DCV. There are 3 in particular that you may consider farming before anything. This is Scourge of the Past, Crown of Sorrow, and Leviathan. Scourge of the Past will drop you arguably the best exotic in the game, Anarchy. You get this from a final encounter, and if you just find an LFG group or some friends that want to farm, you can do this an infinite amount of times. You could do this until all 6 of the people inside of your group have Anarchy. This could probably take an hour or so. You can also get arguably the best Sparrow in the game. I don't have it yet, and I'm probably not going to farm for it. But you get that Sparrow from the servitor encounter when you're racing with your Sparrows against death, basically. Next up, we're going to talk about Crown of Sorrow. Now, from Crown of Sorrow, you can get this weapon here, Teraba. Now, it's not really a fan favorite, but it's still a really good SMG. It can get a lot of damage and a very, very high fire rate whenever you use this perk, its Ravenous Beast. Lastly, we have the Leviathan. Now, whenever you complete the Leviathan, you get a quest to get this weapon, the Legend of Acreus. Once you complete that quest, you can also get the catalyst from the Leviathan, which is this one right here. Increased ammo reserves, which all you have to do is just kill some enemies, and that can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the Leviathan itself, as well as you get an increase in reload and an increase in the magazine. I also have a very important note. I do not advise going for the race mods like the Fallen, the Hive, and the Taken, because recently Bungie has stated that these mods are going to change in how they work when Beyond Light launches. For example, the Taken mods like Taken Barrier, Armaments, things like that, those are only going to be working inside of the Last Wish raid. So if you've been farming these mods and you feel like I have to get these mods before Beyond Light launches, I have to get them for the raid, the day 1 raid, I'm going to be able to use these for more damage, you won't be able to. Like, you just straight up won't be able to use those mods when Beyond Light launches. So if that's the only reason you're farming those raids, I advise just stop and put your time towards other things. Like secret missions. Whisper of the Worm and Outbreak Perfected are the 2 that I advise you to go get. Go get these weapons before they're gone. Bungie has said that they are leaving when Beyond Light launches, but they will reintroduce them when they find a way to. Since we don't know how long these weapons will be gone, or if we'll get even just some other type of secret mission to get them, we don't know. So I advise going to get these weapons before they're gone. Also, their secret missions are just good fun to do. If you already have them, if you already have the catalyst, help a friend, go help a LFG group get these weapons. There's still a lot of people that do not have these weapons. Also, you can get the catalyst in the hard mode. I also have the Sleeper, which isn't a secret quest or a secret mission, but it is an exotic mission that is going to be going away, which means that you basically won't be able to get this Sleeper Simulant anymore when Beyond Light launches. Now, this weapon, it involves going to Mars, talking to Anna Bray. It's a really long quest. If you have not done any progress on the quest and you want to get the Sleeper, give yourself maybe like a day's worth of work. Maybe even a couple days, because it's a pretty long quest. Next up, we're going to be talking Season of Arrival exclusives. There are a great amount of weapons that you can only get during the season, and as far as we know, with a lot of weapons getting sunset, it would be a good idea to get some replacements. Not only that, but some exotics you cannot get after the season may be going away, but we'll touch on that a little more soon. First off, Witherhoard. Now, you probably already have this exotic. It is a part of the Season of Arrival Season Pass. You can even get it in the free option, so make sure to grab it before it goes away. Now, Traveler's Chosen was recently released with the Evacuation Exotic quest, so if you haven't finished that quest, go ahead and get it done, because you never know if you can set up a really good build for Beyond Light whenever it launches. You may be able to find some gear that has certain mods in it that can make this thing a really good weapon. If you were wanting to get Ruinous Effigy, that starts at the Recaster next to Drifter, but note that this is a Season Pass exclusive. If you don't have the Season Pass during Season of Arrivals, you cannot get this weapon. Now let's move on to some other Season of Arrival exclusives. It's replacements for some of your weapons. Now we know that one of our beloved weapons, the Recluse, is going to be going away, and 600 RPM autos have taken over this season. So let's talk about the best ones to get for Beyond Light. Now I have two recommendations for replacing your Recluse. The 7th Seraph SMG, which you can farm from the Unported engrams this season at the Recaster. Now if you've been playing Season of Arrivals for a good amount of time, you probably have a lot of extra altered element which is needed to focus these Unported engrams. I have a PvE role and a PvP role for the 7th Seraph. Let's start off with the PvE. Now if you're going for a PvE role, I highly recommend Threat Detector and Surrounded with the Reload perk. This role is great for clearing ads since you almost always have these two bonuses when you're near enemies. This role is great for clearing ads since you almost always have those two bonuses when you're killing enemies. For PvP, I have this one right here. Dynamic Sway, Tap the Trigger, and Handling Masterwork. Now this thing is amazing in PvP because the two perk combos give you great stability and accuracy each time you pull the trigger, and increases the longer you hold the trigger. As well as it does pretty good damage once you get used to the recoil and you're able to control it, you could easily land some headshots. 600 RPM autos have obviously taken over Season of Arrivals, and I have another set of roles in the Gnawing Hunger. Starting with PvE, we have one that is exclusive to Tier 3 Awakening, and that is Overflow and Rampage. Note that this only drops in Oryx is the boss for Tier 3. I don't know if he's going to be the boss this week or what the rotation is, but if you notice that he is a Tier 3 boss, give it a go because this is a great weapon. Picking up ammo for it just gives you nearly 100 rounds in the mag, and you have Rampage on top of that. Lots of damage, lots of bullets, and lots of fun. Now, for PvP, I have this one right here, Zen Moment, Kill Clip, and Handling. This combo feels great because you get that stability increase as well as a damage buff when you reload after a kill, and the Handling Masterwork goes well because you can ready and aim faster. Overall, a good role for PvP. Another great weapon I would advise getting is Falling Guillotine. Now this is getting nerfed by I think 27% damage on the heavy attack, but if you are still wanting to get a god roll of this weapon, I would advise Jagged Edge, Enduring Guard, Relentless Strikes, and Whirlwind Blade with the Impact Masterwork. This thing will absolutely shred bosses, even if you have that 27% decrease. Where is it? Here. Just put on Loosen Blade and you get that damage back. That's really all you have to do. When Beyond Light launches and that patch goes out that gives this thing a 27 or whatever 20% something debuff is for the heavy attack, if you have Loosen Blade on, you get that damage back whenever it's active. So it's not really that bad. Now, let's talk about Pinnacles. Now, all Pinnacles are being sunset at 1060 power, but that really only affects in-game content and PvP whenever power is enabled, like Iron Banner, if they decide to do that, or Trials. If you still want to get any of the Pinnacle Weapons, now is the time to, but if you only had to get a handful, here are the ones that I'd recommend. Starting off, we have Mountaintop. Even with the sunset and the nerf, it could still be a good weapon going into Beyond Light, even if it is just for the season of the hunt, which is the first season. Probably not for raids, but for story and other seasonal content, this will be good for. Next up, I recommend Reckoner. This is an amazing PvP sniper. It reloads the magazine each time you miss after a small amount of time. For heavies, I recommend 21% Delirium and Wendigo. 21% Delirium is a rapid fire LMG with overflow and killing tally. You get nearly 200 bullets in a magazine and a massive damage buff on kills, and it's great for slaying ads. Wendigo, on the other hand, gives you extra damage each time you pick up an orb of light and increases the radius, and the damage is just really great, and it has really good velocity. You put a boss spec on it, you can do a lot of damage with this thing. If you're into PvP comp, Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten are going to be the options I'm going to give you. These two weapons are really good. Even after the nerf they had and almost being in Beyond Light being out for quite a while, these are still really good choices. But note, if you want to get Luna's Howl, you have to get Fabled inside a comp. And if you want to get Not Forgotten, you have to get Legend inside a comp. Lastly, I recommend Breakneck. This is a Gambit Pinnacle weapon, which has Onslaught and Rampage. It increases rate of fire each time you get a kill, and each time you get a kill, you get increased damage. So those two pairs just go really well together. Next, let's talk about some miscellaneous stuff. Now, if you go to the Season Pass and you ranked up to level 55 on the Season Pass, you can get this thing called the Exotic Cipher. Now, if you grab that Exotic Cipher and come down here to Master Who on the Tower, you can grab one of these 5 exotics up here with that Exotic Cipher along with a couple of materials. Now, I recommend out of all these 5 going for Ariana's Vow. The reason I choose Ariana's Vow is simply because it is one of the best weapons for endgame content, specifically for the Grandmaster Nightfall. It has high damage, solar damage, integrated anti-barrier rounds even without the mod, and it has really long range. Now, if you are mainly a PvP player and you do not do much of PvE, I advise the weapon called Bastion right here in the middle. This is a really good weapon for PvP once you get used to how the weapon works and you're able to position yourself to get enemies from behind or even get the charge timed just right so as you come around a corner it's already shooting. Now, if you're wanting to level up fast when Beyond Light launches, whether it's for the day 1 raid or you just want to get the new mods on the artifact and the new stuff on the Season Pass, you will need some tokens and bounties. Now, I advise going here to Commander Zavala and getting these things called Boon of the Vanguard. This will give you extra Vanguard tokens every time you complete a strike. Now, these things can actually be a little bit buggy. There have been a lot of times where I put one of these on, I consume it, it tells you I'm going to get extra tokens at the end, and I don't get those extra tokens. Once you acquire this Boon of the Vanguard, you can get an LOG group, you can get some friends, and go farm Lake of Shadows. It's like 5-6 minutes once you get efficient at it, maybe even less, and you can get a lot of token packs really quickly. As well as if you pair this Boon of the Vanguard with the ghost that has the Vanguard scanner perk, you will get even more extra tokens. Now, let's talk bounties. There have been a lot of talk about what bounties you should save, what bounties you need to farm, which ones do I avoid. Let's just keep it simple, alright? The bounties you want to keep and farm is Vanguard, Gunsmith, EDZ, Nessus, and Moon. You want to avoid Crucible, Gambit, and all other planetary bounties. You want to avoid the Crucible because those bounties you turn in could give you a rank up, and the reward you get from Shax from that rank up will be a Season of Arrival's power level. It will not be a Beyond Light power level. You want to also avoid Gambit because it could do the same thing as Crucible, and since Gambit is changing entirely when Beyond Light launches, it's better just to be safe and not hoard those Gambit bounties. All other planetary bounties you want to avoid because those planets are going away. We don't know if the bounties are going to disappear. We don't know if those bounties will even give us rewards because it's not a part of the live game anymore. So it's better just to not risk it at all. Avoid the planetary bounties that are going away. The planetary bounties that you can get are EDZ, Nessus, and Moon because those are staying in the live game when Beyond Light launches. Another thing that you can do is go to Spider and wait for him to sell a bunch of items for legendary shards and just load up on materials. Now, you don't need this much, 3,000, 4,000. If you even have like 1,000 or 2,000, that's more than enough to upgrade your items when infusing for Beyond Light, because eventually you'll get all the items you need, you'll get all the gear, you'll start stocking on legendary shards, and then you'll just start stocking on these items that you are just going to be waiting to infuse for later on. Now, if for some reason Bungie gives us like double Nightfall rewards on the last week before Beyond Light launches, go stock up on Ascendant shards and enhancement prisms, because this is going to allow you to masterwork your items to level 10 so you can put more mods on. Now, please note, if you already have a stack of each of these in your inventory, they will go over here to your Postmaster. And if they are inside your Postmaster, that means that they can be discarded. If you get like a bunch of Unported engrams, a bunch of Prime engrams, just a bunch of blues and legends that you just don't pick up, it can replace the stack you have in here, which means you lose it. So just be wary of that. Now, I think it's unlikely we're gonna get another double Nightfall. But if you want to, go get an LG, go get some friends, and just go farm Lake of Shadows on the Ordeal Nightfall at any power level, and just start farming up on prisms and shards so you can masterwork the gear that you want when Beyond Night launches. I have one last thing. If you have a majority of everything I've already talked about, you got the weapons, the seasonal exclusives, exotics, you're currently farming bounties, you know, whatever, everything I've talked about you're good at, you're fine, you're dandy. Go do solo flawless prophecy, or at least complete prophecy if you haven't already. Now, prophecy is going to be going away when Beyond Night launches, and Bungie has stated that they are going to bring it back, but we just don't know when. It could be season 13 after, it could be 14 or even 15 next summer. But if you want to get the exclusive solo flawless rewards, which in this case is this ghost, Cottontail, as well as the emblem I'm gonna have on top here, which is this one, Prophetic Visionary, and the of 10 Sun Sparrow. If you want those awards, go ahead and go do solo flawless for prophecy. Now that is all I have for you today. If you are going to do any Pinnacles or exotic quests, there are many videos on YouTube for those. Even for solo flawless prophecy, there are many guides for every class. Even if you don't have any Pinnacles, not using any exotics, you know, there's videos everywhere for what you're looking for. Go check out my reactions to the Forge and the Storm Vidoc Bungie release for Beyond Light if you like, as well as my Twitch channel if you have any questions or you just want to stop by and say hi. Good luck, Guardians, and I will see you all in Beyond Light.